Hello, my name is Michal Hrubý. I'm a research fellow working at the Europeum, Instytut for European Policy, which is a think tank based both in Prague and Brussels. But especially now during the Czech EU presidency, of course, it's very important for us to watch not only, of course, what's happening in Czech Republic, but what is happening in the global EU perspective. So today I would like to talk a bit more about the Green Deal, but also to talk about energy transition and energy security, which are really one of the top priorities now. Especially the question of energy security is really one of the top priorities, if not the top priority of Czech EU presidency. And we see that many things are happening around now. The successfully negotiated proposal and package, so-called winter preparedness package, the question of what to do, how to save natural gas, how to really have enough of supply of natural gas for the upcoming winter, but also for the upcoming years which are going to follow. So in general, I would maybe start with saying that we see quite a shift in the narrative when it comes to decarbonization, Green Deal, energy security. All these topics are becoming somehow blended in the question of energy supplies, because we see that many of the low carbon solutions, many of the innovative solutions are not only fossil free, but they are also improving our position when it comes to value chains, when it comes to the dependency on different countries, but of course especially on Russian fossil fuels. And we see that although in Czech Republic in the past climate change has been accepted by most of the population, and actually the vast majority of Czech population actually believes in climate change. Yet the specific solutions for decarbonization, well, not always welcome pretty warmly. However, now we see that many of those solutions which are really necessary for energy security will be also playing its part in the decarbonization story. So it is on a good way. I would say that this decarbonization is so-called hidden in the frame of energy security. So it will be really one of those points that we have to solve, that we have to really focus on during the Czech EU presidency. Not only the Fit for 55 package and all the different files connected to that, but the more recent Repower EU and especially the winter preparedness and question of natural gas are things that we have to focus on. Not probably possible to solve everything, but it is very important to come up with the strategy communication and in general to really move forward at least what we are able to move forward and bring us on the pathway of not only industrial decarbonization, but more broadly the decarbonization of our economies. In our region, of course, we are very heavily dependent on different industries, but they already set the pace, they already show best practice, and we have to follow it. So yeah, now I'd like to maybe touch this point that especially when it comes to the winter, the upcoming winter, natural gas is something that we really have to solve as a first issue. Not only because it is part of the critical infrastructure and of course households, social services and many other services are dependent on natural gas in many countries. Not only natural gas, of course, we talk about more other commodities where we now face higher risks of some supply cuts. So actually those are really things that we consider as the top priorities, but it also so to say sets some trade-off, some short-term trade-off, because although the many people opposing Green Deal were heavily disputing that what to do now with Green Deal, and Green Deal is that. I would say actually it's the opposite. We see that actually the overall idea behind Green Deal is actually more alive than ever. And actually now it really shows us, and it really proves now that the independence which can be achieved through different low carbon solutions and different renewables is actually something that we want to achieve, We want to have this transition, this transformation, and it is the actual thought of Green Deal. Not only, but it's one of the major parts of Green Deal. So now we just have to really be able to strategically communicate and not let us into another strong dependency. This is something that is connected closely to the topic of raw materials, the know-how connected to their mining, processing, and also to really deploying the low carbon technologies, especially coming from China, but not only. And this is something that we have to also really be aware of when it comes to phasing out of Russian fossil fuels, decreasing the dependency on Russia, but also increasing our dependency on the other hand on China or some other countries which are just in a much better position when it comes to the value chains of low carbon technologies. So this is something that we really have to evaluate pretty well and of course pretty carefully. However, when it comes to regional perspective and especially the industrial perspective, it has to be said that in our industries, most of our industries, be it steel, automotive, be it cement, chemicals and others, are pretty much connected and joined together with multinational enterprises. We are embedded in the global value chains. And this is something that could also actually help us to really achieve this faster deployment of renewable and low carbon solutions, because we see that there could be many synergies when it comes to looking for the best practice in some foreign countries, applying it in our region. And that's of course the strength of our region, is that we can really do have a look at countries which are maybe ahead, which maybe already proved that the pathway is achievable. And of course now through not only the companies but also through the governmental decisions, we have to follow this path. And it is pretty obvious that in selected regions of our countries where we can talk about just transition mechanism, this is not an easy question. There is a lot of societal perspectives which play a role. And of course, we have to be pretty well prepared for this green transformation in some of our regions. So it will not be, of course, an easy task. There's a lot of things that we have to really be aware of, not only when it comes to the spillover between different industries, but also the knowledge of the people, the knowledge of the workforce, the ways how to actually upskill and reskill different employees to really be able to achieve this transformation, not only green but also digital. So this is the, I would say, starting position of the region where we operate. And then now in the shadow of the war caused by Russia and Ukraine is something that is really pushing us towards this much faster deployment. The solutions which are at hand could be actually achieved really with a strong support of the public, and that is especially something that our countries should communicate to really pronounce that although regionally, of course, we have to shift out of Russian fossil fuels. We cannot let ourselves be just back in this transformation. We also have to focus on the societal perspective, on different aspects that this transformation can have, and also the side effects of this transformation. So overall, I would say that we have a very good starting position. I would say that we see that the EU solidarity, EU preparedness, the winter preparedness package sets a very clear message to the unity of European Union. And actually we see that this transformation can be achieved when all the countries do cooperate. And of course, although there are many regions with many different conditions for this transformation, it has to be done collectively. That's where a lot of places then for networking, for communication between not only private and public sector, but also universities and many others. So hopefully this will be achieved pretty well, and the strategic communication done through the EU presidency will support it pretty well. So hopefully we are on a good path, and thank you very much.